Sleep paralysis is no joke. It can make even the most skeptical of us question whether we're truly alone in this world. That's why today, we'll be sharing 5 terrifying sleep paralysis horror stories that are so scary, they're guaranteed to keep you up at night. Make sure to like and subscribe before we begin. My cousin and I share a room, and he snores like a freight train. So naturally, I have trouble sleeping. On top of that, I had just started taking medication for depression and anxiety. One night, I awoke from a dream to find myself unable to move or speak. I knew right away what was happening and tried to calm myself down. Imagine being stuck in your own body, while whatever that was observing you intently. I can only imagine the things it must have seen on the faces of those who had similar experiences. I could feel a distinct presence in the room with me, and could sense that it moved around and breathed heavily. If this keeps happening to you, maybe try wearing a bug net over your head when you sleep just in case. I couldn't see anything, but I could feel something brushing up against me and heard soft whispering that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. I couldn't move, and I tried to convince myself it was just a dream. I hate when they say things like this because it makes me laugh. Can we take a moment to appreciate the bravery of those who encounter these entities head-on instead of freezing up like me? At first, I thought it was the wind or maybe a bird. But as the tapping continued, I turned my head to look out the window. Just kidding, kind of. I hope that whoever you were talking to on the other side of that window was friendly. You never know when it comes to sleep paralysis encounters. I've heard it can vary greatly depending on who you're dealing with. That's when I saw a pale, gaunt face pressed against the glass. Its eyes were locked onto mine, and it didn't move or breathe. I don't want to exaggerate, but the fear that gripped me was unlike anything I've ever experienced. After what seemed like an eternity, the tapping stopped, and I could feel myself being pulled back into the darkness. When I finally became fully conscious, the sun was streaming through my window, and the room was filled with birds chirping. Had I imagined it all? I'll never know for sure, but something tells me I'd rather not find out. We need more people like you in this world. But then the laughter grew louder, more sinister, and I realized I was in grave danger. If you or someone you know is experiencing symptoms of sleep paralysis, please reach out to a healthcare provider for help. With the right support and treatment, symptoms can often be reduced or eliminated altogether. So thanks for watching, and see you next time. I couldn't scream or call out for help because I was frozen. All I could do was listen helplessly as the cackling echoed around me. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the laughter stopped and I was able to move again. I got out of bed to turn on the lights, but everything was normal. There was no one there. However, I couldn't shake the feeling that something creepy was watching me from the shadows. I slept with my door open that night, and I never laughed at any of the jokes my friends told me for weeks. Then I felt this tall, thin man leaning over me and started speaking in this gross, guttural whisper. He sounded like he had a mouthful of gravel. I was panicking inside, trying to move and make noise, but I couldn't do anything. He leaned closer and whispered directly into my ear, "It's time." Then he slowly backed away and continued whispering as he went. I'm telling you, this is getting creepy now. Eventually, I regained control of my body, and the man was gone. Did I just make the whole thing up? Maybe, but my mom has also experienced sleep paralysis, and she says she has the same exact dream every single time it happens. She dreams that a tall, gaunt man is chasing her, and then she wakes up paralyzed with him breathing down on her neck, repeating the same phrase, "It's time, it's time, it's time." Does anyone else find it odd that these sleep paralysis encounters seem to follow people? Because this is actually a pretty common story detail. I don't remember how long it lasted, but eventually the paralysis and terror faded away, and I was left sitting up in bed, wondering if my mind had conjured it all up. In the morning, I told my cousin about the experience, and he stated matter-of-factly that it happened to him often when we were younger. But he said that it stopped after our parents started sleeping in our room to comfort us. And remember, if you or someone you know is experiencing symptoms of sleep paralysis, professional help is available and things can get better. I think it's even more terrifying that you can feel the entity moving around, but you don't know where or when it might touch you next. What did the whispering say? Or maybe that's for the best not to know. Let's jump into it. 1. The whispering figure. I wasn't scared because I knew what it was, but I was curious. As I lay there, I noticed a tall, somewhat humanoid dark shadow standing by my bedroom door. It didn't appear to move, though. It just stood there and stared at me while I panicked silently. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't utter a sound. After what felt like hours, I broke free from the paralysis and sat up in bed only to find my door wide open and nothing in the room. It vanished the second that I was fully awake. To this day, I still wonder if that was some kind of warning for me, or if it was just my subconsciousness playing tricks on me. Either way, it's safe to say that I slept with my door closed that night. A user recounted, I was 16 and staying at my grandmother's house for the summer. User Lemony Demon added, this is such a classic sleep paralysis experience. 2. The shadow by the door. One user wrote, I woke up in my bed with sleep paralysis. Jinxed Candy commented, that sounds awful. The worst part is that it just stands there and watches you. 3. The tall, thin man. A user described, one time I woke up and I couldn't move. Candy Apple commented, I swear this is some sort of Slenderman situation. 4. The creepy laughter. A user shared, I was awoken in my bed one night to what sounded like soft childlike laughter coming from the corner of my room. Michiko Yukinobu said, oh my God, that's so horrible. 5. The face at the window. Finally, we have one user recounting, I was in my bedroom during a blackout. I lied still paralyzed. I heard tapping on my window. Cassandra Peterson replied, that is absolutely terrifying. I hate windows now. While sleep paralysis can be a frightening experience, it's important to remember that it's a relatively common occurrence that affects many people,